face him on the track, and I will defeat him.
Betting everything on one race is risky.
Anything can happen. Even plebeians like us might rule this city.
Big congrats on the series. I've watched all 10 episodes. I think it's just so thoroughly entertaining. I really hope the show catches on because it deserves all the audiences. From your perspectives coming on, like what excited you guys each the most about Those About to Die?
What was very exciting for me I live in Rome. I'm from Rome and I live in Rome. Mm-hmm. So I have the privilege to really kind of live the history of this civilization, the roots of the civilization every day. Like you walk out of the doorsteps and there are like 2,000 old walls and stuff, or the Colosseum is right next to me. But this show really portrays Rome in a way that's never been done before. Like it's such an epic scale. And the take also that Roland and Robert Rodat wanted to give with the show is really to show people how Romans were modern in a way, how the ancient sports and the politics were entwining, like they were kind of influencing one another and they coexist and they really molded and manipulated the mob, not different from these days. So people were actually entertained through these amazing games and stuff, and how the politics was influenced by it. So I think the way we see Rome in the Roland Emmerich show, it's a Rome that we've never seen, not only because of the scale of the show is, as you saw, it's epic, it's magnificent, it's huge. Like they rebuilt the Colosseum. We used the Circus Maximus where they shot Ben-Hur, and they were kind of rebuilt parts of it. The Suburra, like the villages were rebuilt. So what's exciting really is how rich the show is and how courageous and brave the storytelling is.
And Dimitri, I think one thing that absolutely separates this from any sort of depiction we've seen of this era is those chariot racing scenes, and they're so I love how interwoven to the plot they are and how much they sort of move the plot along. But what can you say about filming those scenes? Like how much of that was done sort of practically?
Yeah, it was a mixture. So the actors that were involved in those scenes had to do intensive sort of training where we graduated from, learning to deal with horses all the way through to like riding carriages to riding chariots. But the filming itself was a mixture of us doing practical stuff. Obviously not the races themselves were stunt guys. So the wide shots, the drone shots, and a lot of the close-ups where they're fully going for it is stunt guys. And then us doing little bits that are at a slower pace. And then an LED screen where they're playing behind us. It's projecting, well, not projecting, it's displaying a moving image of Circus Maximus. And we're in front of that. And then they're filming it with the new Unreal Engine technology. So then obviously the edit is taking all those things where you've got visual effects, you've got stunt guys, and you've got us doing little bits and cutting it together into something that is like, fun and exciting. I
think one of the things that's going to happen after people see the show is Google searches are going to skyrocket over how much is actually historically accurate, right? Especially with the Flavian Empire and all these rulers. Yeah. How would you guys sort of characterize how much is how historically accurate the character?
I think people will be surprised at the things that are real that they might assume aren't. Things like the stadium being flooded with water and some of the events that Tenax that some of the what was the name of the guy that runs the events? The Edis.
Ho capito. The one with the wig.
The wig.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But the events that they put on, I think people will think that they've been made up, and actually they're accurate. It was pretty insane what the Romans did, and in fact, some of the stories that they kept out were so wild that Roland was like, "We can't actually do that."
Wait, it was too much for Roland Emmerich?
It's too much for Roland Emmerich. When he told me, to be fair, it was too much for me when I heard it. I was like, "Roland, stop telling me this is."
Yeah, I know.
It's really dark stuff that went on, but I think people would be surprised. And obviously, the elements that aren't real, you're trying to squish a sort of time frame into a much smaller event horizon so that people can sort of watch it. Otherwise, some of the things don't take place necessarily in that exact time period, but you're trying to compress these events for the sake of like dramatic purposes. So it's tricky, you know. I think it's going to be a mixture of stuff, but I do think people might be surprised at what the things that are true.
It's not a documentary. This is a show, so people can search, and they will. But good. I mean, that means we create some curiosity. Now, do we have to be 100% accurate? Do we not have to? I mean, I think it's not really the point. Obviously, a lot of things are like, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a director who was preparing a show on Nero. And having studied Nero very well, he was saying actually he was portrayed through history and also like books that we've learned at school as much of a darker and bad character than what he was. So, you know, you build myth as well. So you kind of don't know what was completely real or not. But I think most of it, it's an amazing reconstruction.
Cool. Well, and it's so much fun, guys. Big congrats.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you. Thank you.